ADOS is important because Black people in America are a special group. Our lineage traces back, based on books and sources that I have researched, our lineage traces back to the Hebrew Israelites. People like to make fun of people who say they're Hebrew Israelites, or they say you're Hotepers, or you can say whatever the fuck you want to say, but that's part of our history. You're not important enough to rewrite my history. There's no one on this earth important enough who's going to rewrite my history. That's just what the history is. White people have tried to whitewash our history. Ignorant Black people try to change the history or tell us what we don't know when they refuse to open a book. Everybody thinks they know more about us than us. And then the people like me who do the research and we know the truth, we're shut down by everyone, including people who look like us. I don't give a shit about the name calling and all that. No matter what people say, I know where I came from. I've done my research. I've read the books. I've taken the DNA test. I know who I am. I know my identity. And it's Black first. But the thing I've realized over the years, like during this Black revolution that we're going through right now, what it really comes down to, the entire struggle that the Black race as a whole collective, this is me talking, when I say Black, sometimes I'm going to interchangeably be using it for Africans and African diaspora, Black people of African descent who are all over the world. We lack self-respect for ourselves. Some of the things I see Black people allow is astounding to me. It's humiliating to me that I'm part of a race that allows the things we allow. Like, we don't have to allow every single thing that's demeaning and degrading and bad to happen to us. We can fight back sometimes. We don't have to always turn the other cheek or kiss ass and look stupid. There's so many things we do to ourselves. Like, we have rap music that's shit, and we refuse to turn it off. It doesn't matter how shitty it gets, we keep listening to it. Mumble rap? Seriously? Like, who the fuck is listening to mumble rap? Who's really listening to that? I remember when I was like in high school, I wouldn't even listen to rap because I couldn't relate to it. When rap first came out, probably around the 70s, like maybe like more like the 80s. I'm an 80s kid, so I was born in 82. So that's when rap was like, hip hop was like really coming on the scene. And from my understanding, I'm not going to pretend I'm a rap / hip hop guru, because I'm not even like really big into music. And part of the reason I'm not is because of what has happened to Black music since I've been on this earth. It's disgusting. So I've never really been into music anyway, but just watching how degrading our music has become over the last few decades, I am completely turned off by music, just period. Like, I don't listen to any mainstream music. I don't want to hear it. I listen to music back from like the 80s, some of the 90s music, and probably like 70s. Like, I listen to anything but what is coming out today, and anything that's not mainstream. But yeah, so I was in high school, and I remember having a conversation with my sister, and we were talking about how music has changed so much. Like, we could already see it changing, and we were kids. We used to watch BET, and we were already saying how we were kind of turned off from BET because the videos were like soft porn. This was like in the 90s. Fast forward to 2019. The music on the radio now that Black people are meant to listen to, like on the quote-unquote Black stations, which we know is probably not owned by Black people because we don't own anything. because we don't have enough self-respect to own anything. We just need white people to give us everything because we think we're inferior, like they've told us we are for so long. We're so ignorant. We can't read a book and learn that we can read now. It's not illegal anymore. We are smart. We can do things for ourselves. Our ancestors have done it time and time again. But we don't do that. We just keep going to 9-to-5 jobs we hate, listening to racist white people who can't stand us, and just being miserable at it, and then treating each other like shit when we come home back to our communities because we wouldn't dare cuss out whitey, right? So yeah, you fast forward to 2019, and my sons have told me time and time again. The most recent time was this past weekend for Black History Month. I thought, it'd be cool. We just got on the topic. I don't even remember how. We were talking about something, and I was like, it'd be cool to have my sons listen to the music we used to listen to way back when, back in my day. So I was introducing them. I thought their dad listened to this kind of music, so I didn't really ever think about that I would need to introduce them to this kind of music, because I felt like their dad would listen to rap and hip hop and stuff. But as I was playing video on YouTube after video after video after video by different, my sons kept telling me they never heard of these people. And I was like, seriously? I told them, I had them listening to LL Cool J. I mean, we took it back. I was trying to go back as far as I could. Because like I said, I've never been this music head, psycho about music. I've always been more into reading. When I was younger, I used to read a lot. My sister was into the music. My brother was into video games. So I was thinking back, and I'm like, okay, so we used to jam to LL Cool J. I put on some Run DMC. My son even knew, my oldest son, he's 14. He even knew about Chris Cross, and I was shocked. I'm like, seriously? How does he know about these people? I put on Kid and Play and taught them the dance that Kid and Play used to do. And then they were saying, my sons were like, well, our time's different now, Mom, because we have female rappers. What? Excuse me? I was like, I don't think so. These rappers today, female or male, have nothing on the rappers we had way back when. So I had them listening to Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Salt and Pepper, Lil' Kim, who basically, I believe, started the whole raunchy female rap that we see today. I mean, it's like time it gets nasty and degrading, it's just ran to the hill. We run with that version and make it as bad as we can make it. So I was just trying to show them Missy Elliott, people who kept their clothes on. And every video that came on, I would point these things out. I would be like, you notice the women are dressed, they're covered, they're not in bikinis unnecessarily, while the men are in big mink coats. I mean, it's is it wintertime or summer? Figure it out. These women were dressed they were wearing clothes, pants, tops. If anything, some of the clothes are even baggy. We used to rock our stuff baggy when I was in high school, middle school, high school. And that was in the 90s. So I would point that out. Then when the men, the male rappers, the female, I'll point out there's no cussing. There's no N-word. There's no bitch this, hold that. There's no kill this N-word. I'm gonna kill this N-word right here just for looking at my shoes. It's like the music was, I didn't even realize it, but our music was fun. And it taught you about things, and it made you feel good. It uplifted you, made you feel good to be black. It was fight the power. It was just UNITY. It was good. And then you look now and it's what the fuck happened? I mean, I know what happened. We allow white people, Jews, whatever the hell you want to call them, I don't care, they're all white to me. We allowed them to take over our record labels. Are we so pathetic that we can't come up with the dollars to build a record label to push out our own goddamn music? Is it that fucking bad now? Seriously, come on. How many millionaires do we have, black millionaires do we have at this point? How many people have been in the game Should have been making money, but you know how that goes with the bad contracts. They're probably broke as fuck, like probably broke as I am, and they've been in entertainment for 30 years. And then that's a whole other thing. Like, you know, I asked my son the other day. My son went from, my 14-year-old went from wanting to be a doctor when he was 2 to wanting to be a football player when he was like 12 to wanting to be a rapper at 14. When my son was little, my 14, like this is gonna make me cry a little bit because it's like, I'm literally watching I literally watched the effects of the degradation of the black race on my own child for the last 2 decades. I started off with this healthy, beautiful baby who had the whole world ahead of him. Beautiful baby, happy. He was always smiling. And he's so smart. His name's Jalen, and he's so smart. He built a business in elementary school that I didn't even know he had. I mean, he's been an entrepreneur since before I even knew what an entrepreneur really was. He is so business savvy and intelligent and charisma for days and outgoing, and when he walks in a room, he lights it up. Everybody wants to know him. They want to be him. They want to know him. They want to be with him. But because of the lack of education I received as a kid, my parents did not teach me about white supremacy, the system of racism, and just how it's like white supremacy and racism is interwoven into every freaking thing in this country and in this world. It's woven into our schools, our banks, our churches, our homes, the TV, the media. It's everywhere. The books, the school books with all the fucking lies. It's everywhere. And I'll never forget the day I gave my son over to them. I was young, like 24 maybe, 25. Can't remember, how old was I? Maybe like 26. And my son was turning 5. Jalen was turning 5. He had turned 5 and he was started kindergarten that year. Up until that point, I stayed home with him and his brother. I had tried to put Jalen in daycare and I couldn't stand it. It was never up to my standards. Never. Even just a daycare was pathetic. Like, it's like the people were always complaining about my child. He was like 2 years old. They're complaining. Black people, white people. Oh, he's doing this. He's a child. Get over it. You know, and I'm like, if you did half of what you're supposed to be doing with him during the day, he wouldn't be jumping off tables. So he's 2. If you would stop, you know, it was just like really bad operation. Just not doing right by my son. And I remember, like, when he would go in there, the kids were mean. My child was happy. And it's like, over the years, I just watched him become this darker, angrier person. And so kindergarten started for him. I remember being like, didn't want to let him go. Like, I didn't know what options I had. So I let him go. I walked his little self to the bus. He was so little with his little book bag. The book bag was bigger than him almost. We were in Georgia, Augusta, Georgia. My ex-husband was stationed there at Fort Gordon. And he's like, bye, Mommy. And I let his hand go. even without me being fully conscious or woke, as people put it nowadays, whatever the fuck they want to call it, even at that young age as a young mother, with my first child going to school for the first time, I knew I was heading him over to the enemy. I knew for the rest of his little life in those schools, I'd be fighting for him. I knew he wasn't going to get a fair shake. I knew he wasn't going to get a fair chance to thrive and just be a child and be Jalen, this smart, beautiful kid who just loves everyone and wants to be loved, and he wants to love everyone, and he wants to be friends with everybody. I remember he was little, he used to always come to me, Mom, I have a new friend. Even to this day. His dad just moved to Alexandria. Like, he lives in Alexandria, but he moved to another place. And Jalen was like, oh yeah, I already made friends. And it's like, to this day, he loves making new friends, and he does it very easily. He's just such an amazing person. But over the years, it just took something out of me. The first year in kindergarten, I found I hated almost every one of their teachers. The first teacher actually called the school to have Jalen removed from her class before, like, school even really started. I think she sent home some notes saying something was wrong with her or something, and I just wasn't trying to hear it. I didn't trust her or like her. It was a white lady, like it always is. They just run all the damn schools with their racism and their lying ass books. And I sat down with her and we came to an understanding, but I still didn't trust her. Then we moved to Virginia, and it's like it just got worse. Miss Fluke, I hated her skanky ass. Like, she used to wear these little dresses that were too damn short. I remember thinking, like, how are you in this class with these little bitty kids, and they're gonna probably be looking up that dress every time you bend over, just stinking tail. And she was young, she didn't have no control over anyone. She complained about everything, like she just didn't know what to do with a black child. And it just continued from there. And then my second son, Avery, he started school. They started with him. They recommended him for IEP. They said he was slow, or I think it started with them saying like he has speech delay. Then it became he has trouble reading, even though he would read all the time at home. So I didn't understand that. And he would bring home these books that were like so childish compared to what I knew he was always reading. Like, he used to read about planets and the solar system. He loves geography and all this stuff. And so when they were sitting him home with books like The Cat Can Jump, I'm like, what the hell is this? I had to fight for him. So I was in Dr. Umar Johnson and realized that the whole system was a scam and just trying to put black boys in prison. It's the school to prison pipeline. And I called this school so fast and was like, I don't want my son in this IEP program anymore. And then I found out that IEP was actually special ed. No one had ever called it that to me, ever. In all the years he was in it, they would take him out of the class and take him away to some little class like he was, challenged. And it's like, it's one thing if he was actually challenged, but he isn't. So it's like you're essentially making my kid's self-esteem just plummet. He's not even 6th grade yet, and he probably feels like just this idiot, the biggest idiot on earth. And then when he finished kindergarten, this bitch, I forgot her name, but she wanted to, I wish I could remember her name. This was at Pine Street Elementary, I want to say. Yeah, it was. In Falls Church. Super racist, Falls Church, Virginia. It's like white and Asian people mostly living there. We moved there thinking, it's the best schools in the nation. It's just great schools. Let's go. And we didn't think about that. Like, just because the schools are good on paper it doesn't mean it's going to be good for black children. So Avery school teacher, I wish I could remember her name because I hated her with a passion. She wanted him to repeat kindergarten. Who the hell repeats kindergarten? I had homeschooled all my kids, so I knew like what they knew already. I knew Avery knew everything he needed to know for kindergarten, if not ahead of the game. So I'm like, why is he repeating kindergarten? And she said her reasoning was because it wasn't because he didn't know his subjects. It was because he was immature for his age. He was immature. And I talked to my dad because I didn't know like if they could make him repeat or like how that worked because I never dealt with that. You know, as a young mom, again, my kids are young, kindergarten and like second grade. Jalen had not gone through that before, so I didn't know. You know, again, this is like a new experience for me. And they, my dad, I told him, I was like, they want me to repeat because my dad works in law firms. I just didn't know who to turn to. I was like, maybe my dad can help me with this legal side. Like, can he do this? Because they didn't tell us it was our choice. They just kind of said, like, he's probably going to have to repeat or recommend that like, we're looking at him maybe repeating kindergarten. Because he was young. He was 4 when he started because his birthday falls on Labor Day. So he was, like, just turning 5 when he started school, September 2nd. But I told my dad, and he was like, if show me a mature 5-year-old and I'll show you a liar. Like there are no mature 5-year-olds. He's 5. And I'm like, serious, exactly. Like he, it just was ridiculous. It was like just a complete ploy to set my son back. And I feel like, and then I remember when they wanted to do IEP with him, my cousin and I went up there together, and it was like a whole panel of people. It was so intimidating. And I feel like they did that on purpose. It was too many damn people, and like every time I would go up there from that point on, they would be like, oh, the principal's, the assistant principal's going to be there with the team. I'm like, why does so many people have to fucking be at a parent-teacher conference? It's the parents and the teacher. Like, why is there so many people in the room? Like, I thought that was dumb. So I usually would not go. I'm like, if there's going to be a billion people, so I have to go on myself because their dad had to work or whatever, you're not going to be, like, ganging up on me and making me feel, like, pressured or whatever. Just making me feel bad. But, yeah, so then the school shooting started. Oh, my gosh. Let's fast forward. Now my kid is at IEP. Avery's at special ed. I forgot what grade I did it. Maybe 3rd. I don't remember. I called him. Was like, get him the hell out of there now. And all I had to do was sign like this form saying I didn't want him in there anymore. And he was pulled out. But those schools get extra money for children that go to those programs. So they want their extra money. And they love putting black kids in those programs. They don't care. I mean, my child was missing regular education to go to this program, and who knew? Nothing was wrong with him. Like, when we switched over to a new school in Alexandria where there's more black people, his teacher, Miss Canty, Avery's teacher, Miss Canty, was like, he's reading at a really high level. Like, what are they talking about? They were talking about racism. That's what they were talking about. So, by the time I got to 6th grade and 6th and 8th grade, we moved again. We were in Fairfax, and it was white again. And I was just having so many issues with Jalen. He was getting F's. He was going through it. He was getting on my nerves, getting in a lot of trouble. The school was getting on my nerves because I felt like it was their fault. He probably was going through this, because it wasn't like him. He's really smart, and I'm just like, what the heck is going on? And so I just pulled him out. Like, all these school shootings started too around the same time. So I just was like, you know what? That's a sign. I'm done. And I just pulled my child out. I researched what I could do what I need to do to homeschool, and he was out of there like within days, if not like a day. Like, I snatched him out like the next day after I found out. All I need to do was send off a form telling him I'm gonna homeschool our child and the curriculum. We're going to teach them some math and science, and I'm snatching my child out of there. And I felt like I saved my son that day. And he was so happy. Like, I thought he was going to be like, oh, I miss my friends. I don't want to be homeschooled. But he was so happy. He told me he was happy. Like, every day he was like, I'm so happy to be getting homeschooled. And it's like the first week or so, he wouldn't even go outside. Like, I was like, you go outside and play with your friends, because you don't see them at school all day anymore. So you can go out and play with them. And he did not want to even go. He was like, I'm cool, Mom, Because he had his one friend, Jerry, that he's really close to. And I wanted him to still have some kind of a social life because he was being homeschooled, And for a while, he didn't even care. He was just like, I'm good, Mom. He would just be like reading a book or whatever. And he seemed more at peace. And I've heard other parents say this about their kids. Like, once they become homeschooled, like, they just seem happier. And that was my Jalen. He was happy. So then Avery comes along and he's like, I want to be homeschooled. It's not fair. I see Jalen only doing like this much schoolwork and 4 hours a day or whatever, and playing video games after that, and I want to do that. Because they really do hog up your kids' time, and it's like they kind of have to like let them be in school for so many hours because parents have to work or whatever. But it's like if you're at home, like working from home like I was, because I decided to start a business, and I was like, forget this shit. Forget white folks. I just kind of like left my corporate job behind. Well, I got laid off and I just wasn't going back. Even though I had all these qualifications, it was miserable. I was miserable. It was racism, sexism, everything. It was horrible. And I was sick of feeling like shit. So, and not seeing my kids. I'm like, I'm spending way too much time with people I don't even like. I got the hell up out of there and I don't care. Like, I don't miss it at all. And so we ended up taking Avery out and Max, and he went back and forth, but I didn't care. I was like, you'll thank me later. He wasn't really adjusting like he wants to pretend he was. He wasn't really making friends like that. And I was kind of getting tired of his antics as well. He was doing a lot of stupid stuff in school, like taking his shoes off. And things like that, I just didn't understand what he was doing. So I'm like, you can come home too, because the teachers don't know what to do with you. They don't really care. You're not their kid. We got to deal with the consequences if you like fail in life. So he came his little self out of there too. So now both my older sons are homeschooled. I've learned so much from that experience, and so my fiance and I now, we want to put our kids in African-centered school, or we're going to be homeschooling. They will not be going to like a public school. So that's what we're doing right now, is getting ready for that, because our 3-year-old he'll be 5, probably like a year or 2. So it's like the clock is ticking, But yeah, so that's experience between my work, the music we had to listen to, the TV, the comments, Donald Trump. It's just too much. It's too much. It's like, why are we still around these people? Why do we do this to ourselves? Like, when does it end? When is it going to end? And I really, at this point, I don't care what other black people are doing. I'm like, if you want to be dumb and put up with this forever, more power to you. I'm about to get up out of here by any means necessary. About to get my family up out of here by any means necessary. Like, I'm planning on getting a house in Africa, doing a bit of gardening and just living a good life. Like, I don't have to be here. And I feel like, why are there so many other races there in Africa if it's so horrible? Like, they'll tell us it's just the worst ever, but like every time I turn around, everybody mama's like trying to live over there. Like, right now in South Africa, they're trying to get the land back from the white people who stole the land from the black people who are from there. All these foreign white people came in and took they do what they do, stealing shit. And now black people about to steal this shit back. And white people are fighting them. They're like, our forefathers fought for this, and we're not leaving. And I'm like, you have some fucking nerve. You came onto someone else's land, and you're taking shit. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? to do that? Like, what if we went to England and just whooped y'all's asses until we had your land? Like, who does that? You already have somewhere to live, so stay the fuck where you are, period. Like, if you want to live somewhere else, bring your ass. You can come there, but be a citizen, be humble about it. Don't be, like, stealing people's shit and looking dumb. Like, it's just too much. And oppressing people. I'm done with it. I'm ready to get some guns, get my property, my land. I want to do some farming. I want to be self-sufficient. I'm done with the bullshit. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm not the type to be entertaining dumb shit for too long. Like, I know there's black people already in Africa, and I don't blame them. Like, I could be over there already. I would be. That's what I work on every day, is to get myself over to Africa, because it's ridiculous in America. And now we have a new phrase we're calling ourselves ADOS, which I think, it's great, feels good, but I'm like, where are we going to go with this? Is it just like another thing we're calling ourselves? Is anything going to really happen? Now, politically, the people who created ADOS, they are political science majors, which makes me feel hopeful that something might actually happen with this. And that's why I'm making videos now, because I'm like, I have to speak out, because people have told me forever, like, you need to be making videos, you need to be speaking out. And I don't know, I'm an introvert. I do have a blog, like, I do write on Medium, but against white supremacy, but I was like, I just don't really want to post videos. I don't want to make it all about me. I don't know. So I don't even know what to talk about, But over time, I've realized, like, recently, I just feel like I realized that people usually just cover topics that are in the news, basically. So, like, if everybody's talking about it, that's what we talk about, and we give it from our perspective, which I guess that's fine with me. It's not a big deal. Like, at first I was gonna do a channel on, like, homeschooling and raising black kids. So my channel will probably be covering some of that. It'll be covering current events. It'll be talking about entrepreneurship. Like, it'll just be covering my life. And I'm just trying to, I feel like it's important that more, like, media is important, as we all know now. Now we know it's not just entertainment. Representation is important. I think it's important for black people to be represented on screen, because we watch a lot of black people. Actually, they did a study where they said black people actually watch more TV than any other race. Not sure if that's true or not, but that's what they said. And so I'm like, well, we need to get our faces on the screen and represent ourselves. No more of these talking heads talking for us. Whether you're a black immigrant pretending to be African American, or a white person, or Asian, whatever the hell you are, you're not going to speak for us, okay? And if you're a coon or you're ignorant, you're not going to speak for us either, because there's a lot of intelligent black people out there. And finally, we have a way for our voices to be heard. So as Antonio Moore said, it's the time of the reckoning. It's just time to come for what's ours. And we're not afraid. We're not trying to integrate and be your friend or your buddy. We can do for self. We have built empires time and time, and we're the only race that has repeatedly rebuilt our empires, and we're going to do it again. And we're just we're cut from a different cloth, and our children are going to be a whole nother level of awesome. Like, they're just going to be it's going to be crazy how, I know my kids are going to be on point, and I know a lot of black kids are going to be on point, because their parents are on point, and they're getting, like, such a huge head start that we didn't have. Like, my sons already know about entrepreneurship. They know about investing. They know about current events. We talk about black history. They know who they are as black males who are going to grow up to one day be black, really handsome, very intelligent black men. They have parents. They have an amazing village around them that's very intelligent, go-getters, or most of us are type A. Their grandmother, she works for the government. So does my sister. They're very, my mother works for TSA. My sister works for finance department and for the military. My background is information technology. Their dad's background is telecommunications. My fiance has real estate properties that he's a landlord of, and he has a trucking company, and what else does he have? He does so much stuff. And they're just surrounded by greatness. You know, they have an amazing extended family who loves them, and grandfather's a real estate agent. Grandmother, I believe, is she had her own food truck. So this is what they're seeing. This is what they're growing up around. Are people who are going and getting it. Not people waiting for handouts or waiting for someone to give us something. Like, we're going and taking it. And so the world better watch out for the next generation, because they are going to be the generation to not fuck with. Like, they're going to be unfuckable with. Unfuckable. They're going to be amazing. I have every bit of confidence in my power and my sons that they're going to be incredible, and all their friends, like everybody around them, all the kids around them, just, you know what I realized? I don't know when I realized this, but like, children nowadays, despite how dumb the music is, it's like they can't dumb down our children. One is because we're the chosen people, and then it's prophesied by God that we will conquer again. But so things are going into place to make sure this happens, despite what white people are trying to do. It's like, whatever. So it's like we have this information age that we just passed, and then we're in like the technology phase. But it's like there's so much information that's out there. It's like, how there's no way kids can be dumb. You know, they have like the information at their fingertips. And for us, like, the information was at our fingertips, but it was like in a big old encyclopedia book. And it was like, what kid is going to sit around reading an encyclopedia? But it's like, if you have parents like us who are like crazy about education, and you have computers all around you from like birth, and smartphones, you know, when you get a little older, you just have smartphones, all this technology around you. It's like I was teaching my sons how to research info on their own. They were like 6 and 8 maybe. I'm like, go to the search engine and look this up. And they were learning how to fix computers, and pretty much everything we know, we teach them. So that's just what we've been doing. So it's like, I don't know, it's just like, this is the norm for us, for our family. Like, this is what we've been doing for so long. It's a norm. So I think a lot of kids are like that. Like, they just have all this information at their fingertips that we didn't have. So you can't really be walking around dumb because they have so much info that they can research at any given time. You know, they can't say like, oh, I didn't know, because it's like, you can look up anything. I used to tell people when I was working in the IT field that Google is your best friend. And now YouTube is your best friend too, because anything you want to learn how to fix, you want to learn how to do, DIY stuff, whatever, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. So you don't have any excuses anymore. You could probably learn how to build a house off YouTube. You can learn how to build a business off of YouTube. You can learn how to build an empire probably off of YouTube and Google. It's like the sky is the limit. It really is. And so the stuff that used to be like an obstacle for us, like building businesses, maybe because we didn't have the capital and stuff like that, like it's just not really a thing at this point. It's like a non-issue. And that Black Wall Street, what they did to that at that time, it's just like, okay, because they can't do that now because they don't really know who owns what. Like, I'm sure if they wanted to know, they could figure it out. But let's be real, they really don't know. It's like you could create fake LLCs under this company with that corporation, putting this information. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. It's just hard for them to keep up with the technology. They don't even, their laws are so outdated, they can't even keep up with the technology with their laws. So people are cyber stalking and doing all this crazy stuff, and they don't even have laws on the books for what to do in those situations. And it's like the technology just is moving at warp speed. Like, I actually first came into technology in like 2000, so when I first came in, nobody was even really using it like that. There weren't websites to shop at. You couldn't shop at your favorite stores online. There weren't any, like, what do you call it? We really didn't have a search engine. We used to use Dogpile. I used to use that as a search engine. There was a Yahoo, I guess. And then, I don't know, it just wasn't like what it is now. Like, people didn't really rely on their email yet. That was like a new thing. So I was in the military when I first started my first duty station. It was like people were still like getting used to email, like using email. This is like in 2000, and now it's like 2019. Who can imagine not having email? Who can imagine living any time in life without a smartphone? And we got to the point of throughout the decades where I realized I don't even need a house phone. I just use my smartphone. And then I set up a VoIP phone through Magic Jack, and I just use my internet for everything. I stream my video. I got rid of my cable. It's just like this technology just opens so many doors for us. So, yeah, I do believe with ADOS, listening to videos, people talking about it, everyone's so excited. We are on code. We're definitely having this movement. We're going to always be having a movement because it's like it can't be stopped at this point. Whether it gets a new name or Black Lives Matter, whatever name it has, it's going to keep rolling and it's going to get stronger and we're going to keep building and it's just going to be amazing. So I'm not too concerned, honestly, about what we're calling ourselves until I can see results. Like if I see us, I'm going to support it. Don't get me wrong. That's why I'm making this video. And I want it to work. I'm putting everything I have behind it. And when it does, yeah, we're going to propel for it like we do. Because Black people always rebuild and we come back stronger and better. And we're going to keep doing that. We're not going to let anyone keep us down. So, when you guys get a chance, you can check out my website. I have an e-commerce store. I have 4 of them, actually. 2 of them are still they're kind of built, but I'm not really operating them just yet. So you can check out the one e-commerce store at www.lockstarrevolution.com. That's the oldest one that I've had established in 2016. And it sells like Black Pride t-shirts and Black Pride keychains and shea butter and just everything a Black person could possibly dream of is on that site. Excuse me. It's like that site is for us, by us. Like it's just for us to. I sell hair extensions, oils, neem toothpaste, like organic toothpaste, which is really popular. Organic soaps, African black soap. I sell a lot of African items like African drums, dashikis. And it's just a really great site. Really great site. And again, that's Lockstar Revolution at www.lockstarrevolution. That's spelled LOCSTARREVOLUTION.com. And that's it. So I did not expect to be talking this long, so I try to keep my videos short, but apparently that's just, it's so much to cover. Like, I really wasn't even sure I was going to do videos, but I always knew I would, even though I really didn't want to, but I knew I would need to. I'm so passionate about the Black race thriving and being amazing and being great that people have told me I need to have a channel. I know I knew I needed to have a channel. I just never did it. I don't want the attention, really. That's why I'm recording this. I'm probably going to put a picture up and just let you hear my wonderful voice. No stuff. Alright, guys, so I don't even know what I'm naming it. I've changed the name so many times. It was Africana Mama. I think it was Samantha X at some point. It was, I don't know. So I'm still trying to think of the name that I want to go with. But I have to go eat, so my twins are sleeping. So I have to hurry and eat before they wake up. But it was great talking to you guys, and I'm going to try to do videos. I'm probably going to start out doing them maybe once a week. And I also have a blog that you guys can follow on Medium. It's not really a blog. Medium is interesting. You just write posts, articles or something, stories. So it's not really like a set blog, I guess you could say. But I'm actually gonna create a blog and put those onto my website, because I do have the blog on Lockstar Revolution as well. So I usually move my post, share my post from Medium that I published to Medium onto my Lockstar Revolution website as well. And eventually I'll probably have an official blog, or maybe it'll just be Lockstar Revolution blog, So who knows? Still trying to get that in the works and figure that out. I just have a plethora of information, and I really want to share it with my people, and I just want to be another voice out there that's uplifting and empowering and intelligent and strong, and letting us know that it's going to be okay. We're going to be good. We're good. We're Black, and we're beautiful, and we're amazing, and there's so much info I take in on a daily basis, and I just feel like some people are busy, people have to work, things happen. People may not even know where to go or what to do. So I feel like I need to be that voice that maybe can compile that information and deliver that to people. Just a quick story, really fast, and I'll be done. For instance, I just watched the Advice show with Phil. I love that show. And so this guy was on there talking about how he had did all this research and collected all this Black history inventions, inventions that Black people have created over the years or decades or centuries while being in America. And I don't know if I missed it, but it's just I didn't know where to get that book, and I was so excited because he said it was 400 pages that he put together or something, and I don't know if that meant he was reading it or he put it together. I really didn't understand what he was saying, and I was just where's the link? Where can I get that book? Because I would love to add that to my Black library. We have a Black library. Every Black family should have a Black library. And we have Dr. Frances Cress Welsing's ISIS papers. We have Powernomics. We have I think it's the autobiography or biography of Malcolm X. Oh my gosh, we have Marcus Garvey's book. We have tons of books by Black authors. My favorite is From Babylon to Timbuktu. I want to say his name is Ralph Windsor. He's my favorite author. I love the way he writes. He always gives really great sources so you can do your research and confirm everything he says, because the things he talks about, being Black is so full of greatness that if you watch Hidden Colors or you read books about us, you would be shocked and you wouldn't believe it, because our whole lives, our whole existence for generations and generations has been that we're inferior. We're nothing. We come from monkeys. We didn't hear the stupidest stuff about ourselves. So it's really hard to wrap your head around who you really are when you've been lied to for so freaking long. So I do definitely, not to say I don't trust my Black authors, because I don't want to learn from anyone who isn't Black, to be honest. I feel like we're the most smartest, brilliant people on the planet. So we taught everybody, the whole world, and then they stole our information. They hid our information. They hid our history from us. They enslaved us. They're assholes. So in knowing that, I'm who better to learn from than the original people? So if we still have that within us, we will always have it within us, because our ancestors run through our veins. Their blood is through our veins. Their DNA is in us, and God is with us. So I just love his books, and I research, and like if I see his sources, I actually research those sources, and there's another brother, brother Yerushalayim on YouTube. He breaks down the Bible very well, and he explains like scriptures that are in the Bible, because a lot of people go to church, they don't know what the Bible's talking about. They just listen to the preacher and go with that, and it's like, no. So the preacher's being paid by them white dollars to say what he says every Sunday, and it's a load of crap. He's lying to you, and that's why lives aren't getting any better, because they're worshiping the wrong idol. You know, God said there's only one God. You're not to have idolatry. That's a sin. So you shouldn't have other gods that you're worshiping. Only one God. Even Jesus said that. So, anyways, we could be here all day. That'd be another topic for another day. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys, if you made it to the 51 minutes. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. So I'm not sure, like I said, how many videos I will be doing a week. I am a busy mama. We've got 6 boys between us, my fiance and I. Some from previous relationships. 3 of them are with each other. So they keep us on our toes. They keep us busy. And like, I said, we have businesses and things we're running as well. So, but this is something I feel very passionate about. Being a black woman, raising 6 black sons, and just being with the black man, having black parents, and black sisters, black brother, black uncles, black aunts, black cousins, black nieces and nephews. Like, my world is dipped in black. It's all black. And it's just, I love it. And I've got to take care of it. I've got to preserve this. I've got to make sure we make it. It's like survival of the fittest. The time to stop, the clock is ticking, and the time to go is now. So until I see you guys again, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace, love, and light. I'm gone.